Kim Danish and Brian Ariarte. In theory, some of them at least, can go quicker. Let's see. We're ready for the Red Bull MotoGP rookies. The lights are out and away we go. Who makes a good start? Christian Daniel Jr. is tucked in behind Brian Ariarte, but it is the 51 of Brian Ariarte that leads. The American is behind him. But well, they head down to the first corner. Who's going to be brave on the brakes? Up the inside. No, it's Brian Ariarte who has it covered and sweeps through the first round.
Them two have history back from Jerez, the first round of the year. You've got Gonzalez in 5th as well, Peter.
Yes, and already the 7th.
Looked at what happened yesterday and thought, I can't have that kind of mess again. If I have more pace, I need to go for it. Christian Daniel, as these two are very close childhood friends. They've grown up racing each other all along, and as they're getting all involved, it is Pratama who goes through into the lead.
It's there, but absolutely superb stuff from Veda Pratama, as you said, Matt. The other two are mucking each other up, and Veda just took advantage of that.
He's actually nerfed wide by Marco Morelli yesterday. That's why Morelli, the Argentinian, got his long lap penalty, but all cleanly through today. Look at the number 7, Beñat Fernandez, going round the outside.
And Beñat Fernandez, of course, he's already had a win in race 2 at Le Mans, so we know he has pace, but he's been a bit disappointing in the last couple of races, obviously trying to put that right. Veda Pratama, the 54.
The lap of one of these with running commentary, please just up with the GoPro, so they that in quality.
Which completes the front row. Who's going to get the good start? And it's going to be fascinating to see the guys coming off the back of the grid, the likes of Beñat Fernandez. On the rev limiter, and away they go. Certainly Brian Ariarte's got a good run. You can see the 51. Is he going to? No, it's Veda Pratama who has the advantage. It's Veda who leads into the left one.
Well, this is absolutely fascinating then, and you can see Mitani and Ramadipa having their own little battle back in 8th and 9th, 12th and 13th. So Morelli's found his feet a little bit, hasn't he? What was he doing last time out? Last lap around a 2:03. But it's off here today. In 3rd place, your winner yesterday, Marco Morelli, in the slipstream of Dinesh, coming down towards turn 6.
And they're spread out across this, super determined in 2nd, and is right on the tail of Veda Pratama now.
3rd, he is looking for success today after being wiped out of the race unceremoniously yesterday. Quiles has made quite a recovery. Martinez as well, I believe, unless he's just gone really, really wide, caught up in some kind of kin. Jerez, 8 points coming away from that one. So, but this is, he's going to get a bit of a nosebleed here.
Veda Pratama.
Pratama taking such a different, well, I mean, all 5 of them doing completely different. Time of it, dealing with an injury from Winter. That won't help him whatsoever. And we see Monaco.
I wonder if it is those cold left-hand side of the tyres that's calling out falls.
Really seeing it properly strung out, Peter. This is absolutely fascinating. I wonder what the conditions are like out there. I mean, the pace, 2 for causing a crash yesterday, and then he remounted and crashed under a yellow flag at turn 2. So that's why he'll have a
riding skill. It really has to be a mental thing, doesn't it?
You know, exactly. He's very, very high praise rider in the Junior World. Last 3 races he's not finished. He was the European Talent Cup last weekend. He was wiped out of
game. Okay, and you don't know why. I mean, he could have been in the wrong position or what. I have no idea. Well, we don't know exactly.
Oh, we've got 2 riders down, unfortunately. Joel Pons and Christian Daniel down and out of.
It's disappearing up in the lead, and he doesn't want to let him get too far ahead. So Quiles very determined. And it still is Veda Pratama who has the advantage. Brian Ariarte in 2nd.
Look right there.
That is superb stuff. But they know Brian Ariarte there as he tries to hang on to Veda Pratama. He didn't look quite as smooth and cool.
Then what is that, Peter?
And Moodley has a jump start, so that's a disaster for him. He's going to have a long lap penalty with Brian Ariarte and the leader Veda Pratama on the 54.
That is an impressive move because that is so fast into there.
Yeah, that's right. I say they don't
on the start and finish straight, but here they come. Morelli leads from Dinesh, Quiles, Carpe, and it's most of the others, apart from Pugliese and Dinesh, they're in 2:02s. Everybody else in minimum 2:03.
Double long lap penalty. There's a confirmation race direction, and he should receive that. Let's hope he sees a notification of that at least. Anyway, back to the back of the grid with a grid penalty yesterday. He's in the middle of the 3rd row, and he has been incredibly quick. So he's got a 6th, 2 5ths, the win in Le Mans, and a crash. 17-year-old Spaniard from the middle of a Red Bull MotoGP. 66 kilometres around. Getting into the first corner first. And away they go, and again Brian Ariarte gets it rolling very well. and so does Veda. Veda again has the advantage from pole position. Just that extra to get into the first corner ahead as he did yesterday.
And it is Veda and Brian already with a couple of bike lengths then up towards turn 5. A massive overtaking spot coming up as we see Hakim Danish going side by side. Benya Fernandez going up downhill slightly towards the reverse corkscrew. Now you cannot imagine how steeply downhill this is. Much further up the grid in this sort of part of the race than he was yesterday. Now we head where Brian, then David Gonzalez. It was Christian Daniel getting overtaken there by, I think, Hakim Danish. They're not making our job very easy.
Not at all. But of course, yeah, Christian Daniel, those with a grid penalty, he had to come off the back of the grid yesterday. That, of course, contributed to the crash.
It is Danish in the third.
Too soon.
It's Danish is the number 13. So a really good start for the Malaysian from 7th, cleanly overtaken there.
Right, and it's the slipstream down the back straight, 226 kilometres an hour, 100.
Daniel overtaking Benya Fernandez, and you can just see the difference in line choices through the left-hand sweep. Matama, Uriarte, Danish, Gonzalez in 4th.
Yeah. And those 4 have got a bit of an advantage, haven't they?
In the race at the moment, Carter Thompson, the rider in 6th, up into 8th position from 10th. That first lap was pretty decent for him, making up the background as Hakim Danish goes back.
Fernandez, as I say, he doesn't come off the back of the grid today, and of course he's made good use of that. Down the corkscrew again, dropping down the corkscrew, head tucked down, crawling underneath the paintwork. And it still is Veda Ega, the number 13 of Hakim Danish, pulls out alongside the...
Difference in line choices,
brilliant.
Just absolutely brilliant. Across the line they come then, and Carter Thompson's come back now, and he set the fastest lap of the race, a 2:03.5. Significantly slow running 2:02s, down to 2:01s.
And that's now, what is it? That's like an 8-9 man battle for the lead now.
The Kecerdasan rider just ahead of that chasing pack. We do have a top 8 now, and I think it's got to be the win factor and the difference in conditions, Peter.
But as we said with Zen Matani, he's back in 18th place, just behind Sullivan Mounsey.
At the moment, he's running a 2:04 pace, 2 seconds slower than what the leaders were running earlier.
If he can do it yesterday, why can't he do it today?
Everyone else has done their homework, Peter.
So a tailwind as they come out onto the back straight again. Wasn't it, as he went into the left-hander? So he hasn't gone for the higher gearing, I don't think. I think he's stuck with the low before he flicked it left-handed off the back straight. So someone who's gone for the higher gearing, maybe Hakim Danish has stuck with the higher gearing, and that will be an advantage. With
number 17 of car push in there, and 2:02.5. He was the fastest rider on track last time around. Decent margin. He is really on a move. There he is in the middle of your screens. The Kurd are up in towards turn 5 into 5th place now, chasing down Brian Uriarte.
Right, so now Dave from Veda Ega very, very slightly. Hakim Danish is there on the 13 in a very strong 3rd, but I'm sure David Gonzalez has got thoughts of trying to break this pack.
You've got Marco Morelli there along. They were 1.3 seconds back from the leading pack, and Christian Daniel ahead of them.
Oh, no, that's right.
And a lot of riders going wide there and off the curb.
That's right. No Gonzalez anyway. And Brian Uriarte said that he's been racing David Gonzalez since they were kids, and he said he will pick up a slipstream, but it isn't that easy to pass on the run to the line here. It's the 13 of Hakim Danish.
Who is
Surely it's going to be, and Veda Ega pulls out. Is he going to pass him? Oh, it's photo finish.
Who will it be? Was it Indonesia?
And Uriarte 5th, Morelli 4th. Dear, dear, dear. Mounsey 10th. He doesn't deserve 10th, does he?
But we don't know!
0.011.
But what we do know is Benya Fernandez was 3rd.
He should have been better. Mitani 13th.
Morelli 4th. That was a cracking ride in the end there. Well done, Marco.
Well, so does Veda Ega pick up a
coming onto the straight, and ultimately right
Danish, our points leader, he ended up back in 13th place after quick as qualifying. So in theory, some of them at least can go quicker. Let's see. The lights are out and away we go. Who makes a good start? Christian Daniel Jr. is tucked in behind Brian Uriarte, but but it is the 51 of Brunarity that leads. The American is behind him, Veda Ega. They head down to the first corner. Who's going to be brave on the brakes? Up the inside, no, it's Brunarity who has it covered and sweeps through the first right-hander.
Back from Jerez, the first round of the year. You've got Gonzalez in 5th as well, Peter.
Yes, and already the 70th Christian Daniel Jr. looking for a way past Brian.
Behind the 51 of Variati, switches towards the inside line, and Daniel goes for the lead but thinks better of it through Arabiati.